Did you all see that article that came out on Sunday that said there are more men named Michael presenting on stage at JPM 18 than all women presenters combined? I am really grateful to be one of those few women today, but really humbled to be just one of the almost 60 amazing female entrepreneurs that are transforming healthcare that are a part of the startup health community. My name is Sally Poblete, and I'm the founder and CEO of Wellthie. I want to share some stories about the generation of women who have helped transform my journey as an entrepreneur in the present and who inspire me for the future. I was born 7,000 miles away in the Philippines, and I was named after my grandmother's salud. Salud, as you all know, is a Spanish word that means good health. Salud was orphaned at age 6. She never finished high school. To survive, she worked as a maid, making the princely sum of less than $1 a day. But she had bigger plans for her life, so she woke up at dawn every morning to scrub people's houses, saved every peso that she could in order to eventually build her own rice milling business. Salud was an entrepreneur and a working mom of 7 children. She worked hard enough and saved enough to be able to send all of her children to school. And one evening, I was having dinner with her, and I remember being harshly reprimanded for leaving uneaten grains of rice on my plate. She said, "Sally, every single minuscule grain of rice is the product of my blood, sweat, and tears. Don't ever waste it." Those were the seeds of my journey as an entrepreneur. When I was 3, our house burned down. I was in the kitchen while my mom was baking a cake, and our gas stove exploded. Thankfully, I only suffered third-degree burns on my legs and my arms, as did my mother, while my grandfather, Salud's husband, died from complications of the burn. I don't remember much about the accident itself, but I do remember being made fun of as a kid because those kids were pointing at me and they said, "Ooh, she's the kid with the ugly scars on her legs." I remember crying when I first heard that. Came home to my mother and she said, "Tell those kids you can walk and run and dance like everybody else." So those scars are still on my legs, and I look at them every day, and I remember that I survived that fire, and that I am different, but no less than anybody else. You see, I was raised by my fierce single mother who hustled every day, worked a full-time job during the day, and went to grad school at night. She instilled in me the value of education, and she dreamed that if I could come to the United States, I could have a better life than my family before me. And so I did. I immigrated to the United States when I was a teenager. I left my familiar, albeit humble beginnings to start a new life here. And again, I stuck out like a sore thumb. I wore all the wrong clothes. I had a bad accent. I spoke funny to my American classmates. And despite that, I figured out a way to work hard, graduate at the top of my class, and even managed to get into an Ivy League business school, all accomplishing my mother's wildest dreams for me. You see, my mother and my grandmother were both the breadwinners in our family. And that, as a kid, was all I knew. And so while I didn't grow up with the typical toys and treats of a typical kid, I had a rich and strong foundation because the women before me were badass. And now it is my turn. My first job was to run my father's home health business, sending home health aides to Medicaid populations in the inner city. I then went on to go to work at other healthcare startups where my role was only limited by how quickly I could learn. And so I learned very fast. But in those roles, I also messed up a lot. I got laid off. I once started a company that did not take off. But not deterred, I figured out a way to move forward. I got this lucky break and got this amazing job at one of the largest health insurance companies in the country, where I had the opportunity to build insurance products for millions of people. I built my expertise, I built my network, and most importantly, I built my passion for the people that this healthcare system serves. I love that job. I had a great office, a nice office, and an even nicer paycheck. Around 40, my second child was born. And my plan was to go back to work and, balance career and family, but something else was stirring inside me. Parents in the room, those long and dark nights when you're nursing your child, you're sleepless, and foggy from fatigue. Well, sometime between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., in one of those weeks right after my second was born, I had the most crystal clear moment and heard my calling. It was time to start my next act. It was time to start a new company. Was I delirious? Was I sure I was crazy? Give up my nice paycheck, risk our life savings just when we had another mouth to feed. Was I good enough? Remember, I had failed once before? And why risk the reputation that I had just built for myself in the event that I fail again? But what I learned from my parents and my grandparents before me is to follow my passion. And my courage was rooted in their courage, having endured so much more with so much less, without the support of an amazing spouse and a big network of people who surround and support me every day. All of my experiences as a professional in this industry and as a consumer, as a patient of a high-risk pregnancy saddled with a mountain of medical bills, having to run around, navigating the healthcare system, even as a well-trained healthcare expert, affirmed my resolve that this is where I want to spend my energies. We all know that insurance is convoluted and complicated and very stressful for people. And this is why I have chosen my lifelong commitment to increasing healthcare access. For having insurance is the foundation for building one's own healthcare and financial security. Now, we all know, like many transformers you might have heard from, that this journey has been harder and slower and bumpier and lonelier than I have ever imagined. And yet, my resilience grows each day. For every rejection and every setback leaves a beautiful scar that actually makes me stronger. My confidence is rooted in my gratefulness to be a woman here with skills, with a voice, with a moonshot, and with my own unique opportunity to make a difference. Now, entrepreneurship isn't just about giving birth to an idea. It is about building and nurturing a team. So I am working on building that strong team both at home and at work. I'm the mom of 2 daughters, a teenager and a kindergartner. Now talk about patience. For all the investors out there who hesitate in investing in moms because we spend too much time attending PTA meetings, we might put in less time because we may put in less time or are less committed. Let me tell you that I am a better entrepreneur because I'm a parent, because I'm a mom. And that all you moms out there, we all have a well-earned PhD in multitasking and managing chaos, in improvising, which is all essential skills in entrepreneurship. So my adventures, our adventures in the playground of letting our kids fall down so they can get back up and dust themselves off, or encouraging them to climb that taller slide than they are used to, are my daily reminders in leadership. Now for my teenager, I am learning the humbling lessons that apparently moms do not know very much. And that I we have to learn a whole new set of skills to serve a whole new generation of consumers. Never cocky in my decades of expertise. I get giddy when she teaches me a thing or two about technology, just as our younger team members at work come up with the brightest ideas for solving old and persistent problems in insurance. For our job as leaders is to create an environment where they can cultivate their voice and their passion and their creativity to solve the biggest problems. And I love watching when they accomplish things that they never thought they could, which is the best high in parenting as it is the best high in leadership, and why this is the best job. But our job is well done only when they can inspire others and they can carry on our mission and vision well into the future. So I naturally get asked the question, what's it like to be a female entrepreneur? Because, of course, there are so few of us in digital health. And also because we all know that 80% of all healthcare decisions are made by women. We need more women CEOs in healthcare, in business, in technology, and in government. And I implore all the women out there who are considering this path that you have got what it takes. For the most important thing is having a moonshot and some moxie. And ladies, we got a whole lot of it. Now, the bias and the discrimination and the harassment that women face is real, and it is painful. And I've had to deal with my share of that as the kid with the scars, or the immigrant teen that stood out, and the Asian female minority women CEO. What I have learned is not only to survive, but to find ways to thrive in being different. And most days, I still eat rice. When I do, I remember and I imagine that I come from a legacy of women made of steel at their core, and I use that to strengthen me and to strengthen my voice. These are the lessons I'm trying to share with my younger kids at home, and hopefully my team at work, so that we can increase healthcare access for all. So cheers to better health. Salud. Thank you very much.